Greetings, humans, and welcome to a very logical Wednesday. My name is Spock. Greetings from the Starship Enterprise. Welcome to Greetings from the planet Vulcan. Hey everybody, my name is Emma and welcome to Nerdy Wednesday! Now, several weeks after its release, I was finally able to go see the new Star Trek! I love Star Trek. I have some merchandise here. My dad found this at like a garage sale or something. I've got my communicator, which makes a lot of different sounds. Thank you, Uhura. Has like 7 different ones. I have a tribble that trills if you spank it. S&M, no. They should have made one where if you just like lightly pet it, you can do that, but no, they had to make it kinky. I'm kidding. I have my regulation tricorder that has a lot of lights. I can scan you. You are looking very logical today. It also makes a couple different sounds. It also makes a couple different noises. Not to mention my Spock ears that I got on eBay several years ago for $5. I actually did this cosplay for Halloween back in 8th grade. And first in my science class I think we were watching Twister at the time. We were studying tornadoes, and Twister is actually kind of slightly accurate about tornadoes, so that's why we watched it. But it was dark, and my teacher was handing back papers, and he was like, it took forever for him to get mine. It was like, I was looking for a redhead. It's like, I know, it's black right now. And then in the next class, which was French, I sat at the edge of the room, and I was very quiet coming into class because I didn't have any friends in that class. And so I was just sitting there, minding my own business, and then my teacher turns around and is like, oh my god, I didn't recognize you! Those were her exact words, and pretty much her exact tone. Sorry, Mrs. Larson. Didn't mean to scare you. I also have a Mr. Spock little Q-Pop brand thingy. I have a couple different Star Trek books. I swear to God I have more, but where the fuck are they? I don't know. I think they might be in the library downstairs. And I have Mr. Will Wheaton's book, Just a Geek. I don't really get why people don't like Wesley, but then I kinda can because he's like the know-it-all Mary Sue type deal, but I was introduced to Star Trek about 8 years ago by my cousin Sarah. I don't remember, I think they were watching Devil in the Dark when we were at like a family reunion type deal, and so I watched that. I think my first official like full episode that I watched was Shore Leave, which was a really good episode, to be completely honest. I loved that episode, it was hilarious. And then eventually I got introduced to Star Trek The Next Generation with Sir Patrick Stewart as Captain Picard, and of course, my beloved Will Wheaton. And then we got a little bit of Voyager, a little bit of Deep Space Nine, and Enterprise. I don't like Enterprise, okay? I just don't, it messed up the timeline so much. And that, I mean, it's fine. It's a fine series, but it just kind of picks at me a little bit. I like some of the scenes. Some of them are really witty one-liners. You can always get me with a really good witty one-liner. I saw the 2009 Star Trek reboot, but I think I saw it in 2010. And then in 2013 I saw Star Trek Into Darkness, and then just, you know, a week ago I saw Star Trek Beyond. The reboots are actually really good. I like what they did with changing the timeline and not being like, oh yes, we'll just pretend that the rest of the stuff didn't completely happen. But the change into the new thing, it was weird. It was weird. To be completely honest, at first I wasn't sure how I felt about it. But I loved Chris Pine is amazing, Zachary Quinto is amazing, everyone else is amazing. Like, Carl Urban is just like, they took out the Southern thing that DeForest Kelley had going, but they replaced it with I hate space, I'm a doctor, not a insert whatever sort of style comedy. I think Jimmy Doohan would be proud of how Simon Pegg has been dealing with the role of Scotty, and I get into a lot of series because of the relationships and romance. I'm a hopeless romantic when it comes to fictional characters. So I loved the scenes between Uhura and Spock. I was about to say it's not really canon, but Uhura did have a major crush on Spock. Let's just be real here. Let's be real. That part is canon. Spock loving anyone back, not so much. But it was just very interesting to see the human half as well coming out in him, especially in the first reboot. Ugh, it was heart-wrenching, but it was also hilarious at the same time. And then in Star Trek Into Darkness, it was fine, great, a lot of action. There was one big problem I did have with it. J.J. Abrams completely ripped off Wrath of Khan. I'm not saying because he had Khan in it. Put Khan in. Barbecue Cucumber Sandwich did an amazing job at it. That was fine. Have some tribbles. That was fine. Just bring him back in, kind of like what they did with bringing in Spock Prime in the first one with the amazing, lovely Leonard Nimoy. May he rest in peace. But the scene in the reactor core where Kirk decides to go, you know, do whatever he's doing, kicking the thing and hanging, being strong and manly and sacrifice, and then doing the I will always be your friend thing through the glass with Spock. I'm sorry, that's a straight ripoff of the scene from Wrath of Khan, just switching the characters. I feel like it was kind of a cop-out, to be completely honest. A lot of people were like, oh yeah, it's, you know, paying tribute to the original Khan. I found it cheap. I found it just, like, insulting. Just a little bit. I mean, it was fine scene. It was forced. It wasn't forced. It was a cop-out. I felt like it was a big cop-out. That's the only thing that I really didn't like about the second movie. Now, this movie was hilarious as all get out, with a little bit of drama and tension in it. It was just really interesting, and I like what they did, splitting up the characters into ways that you never would have thought. You would have thought that it would have been, you know, the trio, Kirk, Spock, and McCoy together, because that's how they always were, and then, like, put Chekhov and Sulu together, because they kind of do that, and I don't know who you'd put Uhura with, maybe with Spock, because of that whole, like, whatever thing. I don't remember what she would... Normally she'd actually stay on the ship. Anyway, but they didn't do that. Kirk went with Chekhov, which is great because he's normally a minor character. Sulu and Uhura went together, which is amazing. They both have some vice in them. And then Spock and McCoy, the dream team of hilarity, pain for the Doctor, and emotionless Vulcan pain for Spock. I appreciate it. I ship it. And then seeing Scotty with Jala, that was actually just a really interesting relationship. She was like badass and no rules, and Scotty's like, I'm a little concerned, but I need some help here, so let's just go with it. I actually really liked how they did the, like, I hesitate to call it feminist, but it kind of is, where in the end, Scotty's trying to fix this mechanical thing. It's like, I got it. And J-Law's just like, no, I can get it. And then Uhura's like, she can do it. And then she just goes and, alright, we got it. Let's do this. Hilarity was had. I really liked it. It had so many one-liners. You know that quotes area on IMDb for all of that stuff? I wish more of the lines that were witty one-liners had been in there, but they just had such plain lines in there. It's the one thing that I'm a little disappointed about with you, Internet Movie Database. Get your shit together. But no, I kind of plan on seeing it again, maybe on my own. I saw it with my friend Kate, which is why it took so long for me to see, because we had to have our schedules match up. But anyway, I enjoyed the movie thoroughly. During certain parts of the movie, the entire audience in the theater, which was about... There were like 20-30 people in the theater with us, just started laughing. It was like, yep, we be Trekkies, we know what's going on. Don't let me say anything like that ever again. But yes, it was an amazing movie, and it paid a lot of tribute to the old one. When the Enterprise crashes into the planet and they have a little bit of the terrain coming up, that's pretty much the exact same scene as a couple different Star Trek movies where they crash land on a planet. Chekhov being vodka was invented by a little old lady in Russia. It's the same thing as Trouble with Tribbles, I believe it was. Vodka. It was invented by a little old lady in Leningrad. McCoy, when he's being transported away with Spock, is like, I'm a doctor, not a, and gets cut off. Showing that McCoy doesn't really like transporters because his molecules get all rearranged. And even going back to the original movie, where Scotty doesn't like being in confined spaces and they gave him the oxygen mask. It just was great. I know George Takei wasn't really adamant about having Sulu be gay. It was the tiniest little thing. It was the tiniest little thing. It was like how people were getting upset about the possibility of a lesbian couple in Finding Dory, and you couldn't even tell. You couldn't even tell. I watched it with my girlfriend and was like, wait, were those supposed to be the lesbian couple? It's like, you don't even see it. It's like a third of a second. But it was very great. Simon Pegg, you did an amazing job at this movie. And as Kate would like to comment, there were no lens flares! Simon Pegg, you did us proud. I also like how they paid tribute to the fact that Leonard Nimoy died before this could even happen. They had Ambassador Spock die, and they had a picture of the old crew back from the movies, you know, in the 70s and 80s, I think is when those came out, and I'm completely sure. And my favorite thing, besides the entire movie, is at the end they did In Memory of Leonard Nimoy, but then right after that, for Anton, which I was surprised about because his death, it was so close to release date that I was wondering whether or not they'd be able to fit it in. But they did, and that was just really touching to everyone. But yeah, that's what I have to say on the matter today. If you like this video, you can give it a thumbs up. We can talk about Star Trek in the comments below. If you have any ideas of things I can do for Nerdy Wednesday or want me to talk more about other parts of Star Trek, tell me in the comments down below as well. If you like this video and want to see more of my stuff, I do Nerdy Wednesday every Wednesday, and I do some stuff on the weekends. I did some things last weekend, which included behind the scenes of my Pokemon Go music video type thing. You can see both of those right here. And if you want to be told when those come out, you can click the subscribe button down below. And also down in the description below, I have links to my Twitter and my two Tumblrs. One is my, like, you know, main, like, whatever Tumblr, and the other one is my nerdy stuff because I didn't want to annoy all of my friends who follow me on Tumblr with all of this geeky stuff. Alright, so that's what I've got for you. Spock to Enterprise. Ready to beam aboard. Live long and prosper. It felt weird not doing that, so I had to do that. Alright, bye!